Welcome, everyone, to Season 2, Episode 1 of the Crusaders Podcast. My name is SENPIEMAN. I am joined this week by Techsnologic.
Hello.
And LancelotArcher.
Hola.
It's been a while since Christmas.
It has been a while since Christmas. It's been many a time.
The last time that we actually managed to get time to sit down and have an actual chat. How have things been? How have you guys been going?
Tex, lead the way. I'll let you go first, sir.
I've not been all that bad, in all honesty. A couple of things going on in life here and there. I'm going to be moving house very, very soon, like in the next few days, moving back to my parents. But other than that, been carrying on with working from home ever since Christmas itself. I think I've only been back into the office like twice. Other than that, yeah, life hasn't been all that bad. Could always be better, of course. We're still rolling on from the whole effects of 2020, but otherwise, not too bad. How about yourselves?
We've got 3 weeks until lockdown breaks.
Officially? Yeah.
Well, starts to break.
I mean, what was it? We'll go from tier 19 into tier 1 and then freedom. For me, it's just a Tuesday. It's just Tuesday. Everyone's like, I've been stuck at home. I'm like, oh, it's Wednesday. Nice.
I was about to say, just note for the audience, we are recording this on a Friday.
Yes, we are recording this on a Friday. So I'm not just jumping through the days as it goes, but for me, it's kind of been like that every day for me anyway. So, but in regards to what I've been up to since what's happening since Christmas, not much like yourselves. I've just sort of like just been life's been plodding along, just been doing things here and there. February was kind of an interesting month for me because a lot happened and I was kind of like, what the F? And it was one of the things that kind of stressed me out more than it needed to. And then it was just unnecessary, an annoyance for February. And then February kind of disappeared at the same time. So I was like, what the hell happened to February? I was like, first off, had to deal with this IRL nonsense. And then secondly, Chinese New Year rolled in. And then next thing I knew it was March. So
it's March.
It's
we're
March.
Like almost a week into March, and I have no idea how that's happened.
I know. For me, it would have been like officially rolling up to me 365 days in lockdown. But yeah, outside of like that and the whole thing with February, just been streaming, gaming, doing the usual. I'm trying to do more in terms of the fitness, like actually do more exercise. I've had like do more exercise in my resistance band, trying to keep an eye on what I'm eating as well. But yeah, it's just been 2021. I need to make more changes, essentially. But
yeah, I get that. I'd start on that. He says 3 months into it.
Yeah, I'm literally waiting on lockdown to finish so that I can go back to gym and actually carry on with my whole trying to fitten up for a little bit.
Well, yeah, because you took a brand new gym membership just before, just at the end of like tier 5 or whatever it was, before we went back into a full lockdown.
Yeah, I think I managed like 2 weeks of gym and then we went full lockdown. And then obviously it was due to open up around about Christmas, and then that never happened. And then, I mean, I'm looking at the fact that my gym membership aren't actually charging during this time, obviously, but at the same time, work pays for half of it anyway. So I think I've still been getting that extra half of the money each month, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So I think I'm like £15 richer than I should be each month. But
I was about to say, does that get credited to your gym membership account, or does that get paid to you?
It gets paid to me.
Oh, sweet.
So that's not too bad. That's not too bad.
So even better, I think I'm literally just £15 richer each month at the minute.
He's at 15 pounds. Oh, the extra £15. We're splurging tonight at Mackie D's. Speaking of Mackie D's, I had McDonald's for the first time in like 2 years about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Did you go and get it, or did you have it delivered?
I actually went out to get it. So do you remember that week we had?
Where it was
no. I was within the rights to get it. I was in my car. I never physically touched anyone. And I was kind of, you stay back, so I'll run you over. So do you remember a couple of weeks back, Senpie, we had the snow came into our area and it was actually quite bad. So I was kind of like, okay, let me see if I can order McDonald's. So I ordered it via the McDonald's app, and they're like, oh yeah, that's fine. You can do a delivery. And I'm like, delivery? Okay, let me double check this. And they were like, oh, not delivery. It's collect/delivery for 24 hours at the McDonald's I was there. I'm like, I have to use Uber Eats, and Uber Eats sucks. But anyway, I drove down, grabbed the McDonald's, drove back, and it was like, why can't Uber Eats do this? How is it I can get here in 10 minutes and back, and you have to add an extra 1.5 miles to get to my house? But it was still like, it was good to have McDonald's after like 2.5 years. I was like, this was good. But for some reason, the nuggets were super salty.
Oh. Since I caught COVID in December, just before Christmas, I basically, before all of that started, Alex and I had a ritual on Mondays, which was his day off from work. We'd go out for a Mackie D's breakfast.
Oh.
We'd go through the drive-through, get a Mackie D's breakfast, whatever.
Which
sit in the car park, eat it. The Chingford one.
Oh, the one at the bottom of the Lee Valley one on the way there. Yeah.
So, interesting story. Basically, since we had to go into isolation, and during which time he's also broken his arm, so he's unable to drive. Thought, okay, we'll order in the Mackie D's breakfast and everything like that. Turns out, no. Where we live, in the Venn diagram of the two or three McDonald's that are around us, they don't deliver to this part of the world.
not area, part of the world.
Three McDonald's restaurants around us. There's the Venn diagram, and we're in the middle, and they don't deliver there. None of them.
It's so stupid how that works, man.
Just outside their comfort zone.
Not through the McDonald's app, not through Deliveroo, not through Just Eat, any of the food delivery sites. None of them deliver here for McDonald's.
I mean, like, to be fair, when you think about it, Senpie and I live 5 minutes from each other by car, and even McDonald's on Just Eat doesn't exist for me. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, how? If I can get something from 3 miles away to get delivered to my house within an hour, how is it McDonald's, which is 10 minutes down the road from me, can't deliver? You know, it's just weird how that works with McDonald's. But
so, we were trying to be all good, you know, we were isolating and everything like that. It's like, just wanted a little bit of comfort. Can we get a McDonald's? No, we can't.
And then there's me, that where I live at the moment, I've got about 2 or 3 McDonald's that surrounds me that can all deliver to me.
They're just waiting for that call. We heard you're 15 pounds richer. Can we offer you a service?
Because normally if one closes down the orders, then we just go to the next one over, and then they can, if they're closed, then we go to the third one, and normally they can deliver. Normally at least 1 out of the 3 can deliver, so we're fine either way.
Yeah. Go get them Happy Meals.
What is in the Happy Meal at the moment?
It varies, I think, isn't it? There's 2 different versions of the Happy Meal. From what I've seen, there's one that's nuggets with, is it nuggets and carrot sticks? And there's another one where it's a cheeseburger and apple bites, and then the drink of choice is whatever fruit shoot thing it is. I think that's what I've seen.
Normally we just order whatever we want to get with it. We've got a choice of nuggets, a burger.
Oh, is it?
Chips or carrot or fruit bag or whatever drink that we want.
Oh, I thought it was sort of there was here's Kid Meal 1, Kid Meal 2, pick.
And then you can pick either between a toy or a book. So
a book?
A book?
Yeah.
I didn't know they gave books. The fuck? You were like, here.
I was just looking on the McDonald's website. Apparently they do fish fingers as well.
They're only a little kind of book about that big.
So not the Britannica Encyclopedia. Here you go, child.
You're not getting War and Peace.
Learn.
Getting the whole Hobbit book with a Happy Meal.
Can you imagine that, sitting and nibbling on an apple thing, page 27?
Oh, the toys at the moment are top trumps.
So is it only in America then that's doing the Pokemon thing?
I think so at the moment, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah. Only reason I know about that is because of the Matt Stoney video. That's the only reason I know about the Pokemon and the Happy Meal thing.
Mate, there are lots of people doing Pokemon cards at the moment.
That's a crazy.
Yeah, it's having a bit of a resurgence, isn't it?
How expensive it? Say again.
Pokemon cards are having a bit of a resurgence again.
Yeah. Have you heard that? I don't know if it's your thing, but there's one of the YouTube channels I watch is for an esports company called Optic Gaming, and they're sort of like a pro Call of Duty league. And one of the things they do for their content channel is that they do like random stuff, whether it be trivia, spelling bees, or something. And the latest one they did was a $20,000 worth of Pokemon cards. And I was like, what? And they showed like this one gold box, and I'm like, there's no way that box is worth 20k. They probably bought about 20k's worth of Pokemon cards, and then were doing openings by various of the different members. But I was kind of like, there's a lot of people going crazy over the Pokemon cards right now. Even Trevor May, who's like a professional baseball player and a streamer, who's friends with like Dr. Lupo and Ninja and that lot, and Tim the Tatman, he even did an unboxing of Pokemon cards to get like the shinies and so forth. And I forgot what one he did. I think on one video clip that I saw, he got is it shiny black Charizard? Was that a thing?
Yep.
Yeah, he got that, and I don't know how much that's worth, but apparently it's worth a lot. He pulled two in one box.
You're looking like $500+.
He pulled two in one pack.
Wow.
Well, one pack, one box.
Oh,
two in one box, yeah. And I was like, damn. And then he had a load of others, but those were like the big pulls for him. But he had a few others that were at least over $200 each. But when he pulled that, he was like, look what I got, chat. I'm like, it's a black shiny Charizard. I know that's expensive, but why do you have two? Give me one.
You don't deserve it. Give me one.
You don't deserve it. You don't even have a Charmander.
This is true.
Doesn't even represent. He's always there for me, that man. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy the Pokemon resurgence, but I mean, everything comes back eventually, doesn't it? Everything does this full circle.
Yeah. I think this is like this in my lifetime. I think this is about the second or third time the Pokemon's come back.
The card stuff, or just Pokemon in general?
Yeah, the card stuff.
I think
it's
for
at
me,
least the second time.
Yeah, for me, to my knowledge, it's the second time I've seen Pokemon cards resurge, and I'm like, oh, okay, they're back. But obviously, more avid and richer Pokemon collectors will get them than I, and I'm just like, I don't really care. Yeah. My luck ran out when I was grabbing Yu-Gi-Oh cards for my brother back in the day when Forbidden Planet was a Sharpie's Avenue. You'd be like, bro, can you grab me some? I'm like, sure. And I just grab like random handfuls, and he'd be like, you just got me this ultra rare Dark Magician girl. I'm like, awesome. And he just opened random pack, and I'm like, you're welcome. And so here's the cards you asked for. And he was like, you just got me this. I'm like, I don't know what that does, but it was great. All I know is, Exodia and Mirror Force and the God Dragons. That's all I know.
I mean, I've still got how many packs? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 9, 10 packs of Pokemon cards just sitting here on my desk.
Oh, to open?
No, I've already opened them. Oh, okay.
I was like,
these are all just old packs that I had on my bookcase that I've been sorting out for the move and stuff, but I've got like 9 packs there. Some of them have actually got some rares in there that are worth like 20 quid plus.
Okay.
And then I've just got more stacks here and behind me and on my desk and everything that have just got other Pokemon cards on there. I've still got more to find behind my desk as well. That's why I've still got like a bag just full of the old original Pokemon cards that are still actually worth more money than what I would have paid for them originally now. Even though they're in shitty condition, they're still worth more money because they're the originals.
Yeah.
What is the average price for a pack of Pokemon cards these days?
I mean, the recommended retail price, I think, is $3.99 for a pack.
What?
That is a lot.
But when I was about that tall, they were about 95p, I'm sure.
Yeah, inflation, mate, inflation.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It is. COVID hike. That's what that was.
COVID hike. Don't talk to me about COVID hike. Everything's getting COVID hiked these days.
With all of the Pokemon packs being scalped now, you're probably looking, I don't know, anywhere between £7 to £8 just for a pack on eBay or wherever else you want to buy them now because of the scalping.
Yeah,
it's amazing how that's taken such a huge jump because of the PS5, the scalping, and I say that and the graphics cards and so forth. But it's like now every time something's coming, so it's like scalpers have got them. You're like, yep.
Nvidia cards.
Game just the other day ended up having a restock. I think it was midweek. I think it was probably like Tuesday or Wednesday. I think this week.
Oh, for the PS5s.
Yeah, for the PS5, and they've got a new visual aid for their queue now. So as soon as you start, they've got like a whole bar on the website that has a little walking person on there. The closer you get to the front of the queue, the further along the line it goes. Apparently, some people had waited from like 9:30 in the morning. They got to about 3:00 of the afternoon, where it was saying that they had about 3 or 4 minutes left, and then they just got cut off with a warning saying we are now out of stock.
Oh,
what? Wow!
It's like you guys should know exactly how much stock you have, and essentially, as soon as you have the queue full, that basically states that there is not going to be enough stock for the queue. You should just put a warning out saying, "Okay, the queue is now full. This is going to allocate all of the stock. If you want to remain in the queue to see if anyone cancels or fails to purchase or anything else, stay in the queue. Otherwise, back off." Basically, is what they should do. Yeah. But nope, they just let everyone queue up and then make a lot of people very, very angry for having to wait 5.5 hours on one page.
Yeah, I mean, I also heard, was it this week? The 3060 came out this week. Was it 3060? It was 3060, right? That came out this week.
I think it was a 3060 Ti, I think.
Yeah, well, that series card came out, and apparently all of them were sold out in 5 seconds.
Yep.
I was like, 5 seconds? Goddamn.
Apparently, they were even being sold out on some sites before
the official
it was even released.
Yeah.
So
it's crazy. That I mean, for that one, I can understand it's sort of because they would have been allocated to people who did like pre-orders first, and they were like allocated to said person. Well, obviously, if you're doing it just like, oh, here's 100 graphic cards, first come first serve. Obviously, that's just going to go crazy. People will be like, bye, crash the website. Scalpers are like, yeah, don't worry, I can get 98 of these. I don't want the 400. I don't want to sound like a dick, but 98 is enough.
Well, AMD have announced that they're going to be selling their new 6700 XT cards on their own website. And they're going to be doing weekly drops of stock.
Control it. That's nice. That's good. That's good.
They don't say how much they're going to have in stock, how long it'll last, obviously, when they'll drop. So essentially, you've got to be on the website on any potential day that they may drop, and then hope that you can get one.
Yep. Okay. Yep. Very true. Very true.
But even then, they don't state as to what they're going to do to try and prevent bots and scalpers from getting them as well.
Yeah, that's the thing, though, isn't it?
Well, I think that's a wise. I think that's wise.
Maybe that's the thing. They're trying to not announce it unless like they find a way around it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Senpie muted on Discord.
I think he's muted himself. Yeah.
No.
You're muted, by the way, buddy. We can't hear you. I mean, I can see at the bottom of the thing that he's actually talking, but I can't hear him.
I'm seeing that he's picking it up on the recording, but we're not hearing him in Discord.
No, I'm still here. It's fine. It's okay. Just Discord, just being silly. Carry on.
But yeah, I mean, okay. So let's just get on to what we've been playing since Christmas. What is for the last 3 months? What we've been doing gaming wise?
Well, I had a brief week on Cyberpunk. I know that you ended up completing it.
I did.
I just couldn't. I couldn't carry on with it at the moment. The state that it's currently in.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, the 1.2 update got delayed, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm happy for it to wait for it to be completed and whatever DLC come out for it or anything like that. But yeah, it's been shelved and uninstalled for me for the time being.
I should actually uninstall it as well, actually, now that I think about it. It's just sitting there doing nothing.
It's taking up like 90 gig of space doing nothing.
That is true. That is taking up 90 gig of space. I could use that for something else. But weirdly enough, on the topic of Cyberpunk, obviously I'm guessing you guys heard about the whole ransom on their source code and stuff and how much it got sold for and whatnot. Yeah. I mean, that was crazy. I laughed. And then at the time when I heard how much it got sold for, there was an article that went up that was saying like, oh, someone's bought it for $7 million. I'm like, well, that's pretty awesome. And now they were like, now what do they do with it? They can either be the nice, free sourcing hacker who's like, here, everyone use it. Make your own Cyberpunk, but better. Or they could be the dick and just be like, no, we're not going to give it to anyone. We're going to take the code and maliciously destroy it and do something else with it. It's like, it's pretty much those are the only two options. Or someone's just going to be like, I had the source code and I'm putting it in a vault so no one can ever have it. And then loses the USB drive.
Or encrypts it.
It's going to be floating around on a USB somewhere.
Chris forgets the password. Let me just call my admins. Forgot password to USB drive. Please go to this link to reset USB drive. Have you backed it up? Oh God.
That USB drive was my backup. No.
No.
Oh my God, that would be quite funny. But yeah, I mean, Tex, you haven't played Cyberpunk since you did the whole Nvidia thing, right? Did you just stop because you're like waiting for Senpie? Like Senpie, just going to wait it to be all done, or is it just
no? I just ended up getting stuck into other games like Final Fantasy 14 again.
Yeah, I suppose it happens. Like other games will pull you away. That's the thing. Like when I was playing Cyberpunk, I was kind of like, I'm going to play this from beginning to end and just finish it because I want to get it done. And I'm kind of glad I did. I mean, I didn't have as a bad experience as others did. So I can say that I had a fairly decent experience on the game and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm not going to lie. The story was actually pretty good. And there's, like, Dad's mentioned it previously on previous episodes when we had him on talking about Cyberpunk. Like, the different endings you can choose. And some of the endings, like, from what I heard and saw, I was like, there are actually some pretty insane endings. But then there were certain things where you're like, oh, you can't get this ending unless you do a lot of this. And that's not really something you can discover just by playing naturally. There's some endings that you have to consciously make your way towards. Like you have to actively try to do everything you can to lead in that direction. But yeah, it's actually really good. There's a fight where you meet. It's sort of like it's not really what is it, a boss fight? I don't know. It's a kind of a boss fight at the end, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is kind of like a hard fight." And these were things that I was reading or hearing prior to me getting to this fight. That, oh, when you're about to fight this guy, it's super hard. I got there. That dude was easy. He was well easy to fight. I was like, you weren't. I mean, to be fair, I was probably very, very, very overpowered for the level. I think I was like level 47.
I was about to say, yeah, because you spent a lot of your time doing the side quests and leveling yourself up a lot more before you sort of carried on with the story.
Yeah, I was going to be the guy who cleared out the map of all side quests, and I did. And I was like, nah, time for the police stuff, the Night City police stuff. And I was like, all right, let's start. I come back, I'm like, why is there a police warning right here? I cleared this area. There should be nothing here. This should be crime free. And every time I cleared it, there's something else to pop up. I'm like, F you, I'm done. I'm no longer being a vigilante. I'm going to kill everything that moves. But yeah, that's the thing. Like the Keanu Reeves in it is actually really good. Like I personally think his performance in it is pretty decent. Okay. For an A-list celebrity like Keanu Reeves to do a game like Cyberpunk and make the storytelling as good as it was, I feel like his role in it was awesome. Really, really awesome.
I think it was kind of timed a bit weird because it was the release of Cyberpunk was around about the same time that the rehash of Bill and Ted had also come out.
Oh yeah, so
you're kind of looking at
that weird sequel.
Looking at him like in Cyberpunk being breathtaking, and then you look at Bill and Ted as like, dude.
Excellent.
It's the juxtaposition was a little bit off for me for that. Is that just timing wise, it's got no impact on the film or Cyberpunk as the game itself.
It was weird, but then again, that's probably just down to the studio trying to get that film out as quickly as possible, isn't it? Because you know that's not a film that's going to rake in box office money. So, you know, put it on a streaming service somewhere, which I'm not going to lie. I tried to watch the Bill and Ted movie. I think I got 20 minutes into the film before I was like, I'm done.
What? The new one, 3.
I tried to watch it and I was like, nah, I can't do it. I'm out. Find something else. Take that phone booth of theirs and just leave. But yeah, it was just, no, that was not a good attempt at the sequel. I know what they were trying to do, but they were like, oh, people want it back. I'm like, do you really want it back? And I know. Didn't need it.
Well, Keanu didn't need the money. I imagine Alex Winters probably needed the money more than anything.
Quite possibly. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was trying to get it for a paycheck. But I mean, it's out in the world. It's done. You know, he got paid at the end of the day. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I did actually also watch the Monster Hunter movie recently.
That's out already?
It's out.
I didn't think it was. I thought it was still a little while.
It came out in December, remember, in the cinemas, and then it was very, very quickly rushed to streaming.
I bet it was.
I can well imagine.
Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, it was actually quite enjoyable. I was expecting to be like one of like Paul W. Anderson's other films. All I got to think back to is Resident Evil and be like, But this was actually not bad. There are parts of the film where I was kind of like, you didn't need to make this as long as you did. You could have easily cut this in half and got something else out of it. Like the CG for like the monster hunters, like the Diablos, the Rathalos, and some of the other things in it, like Tony Jaa rocking the weapons and stuff like that. That was like to a T exactly like you would find in Monster Hunter World. It was like to the T perfect renditions and copies of it. There was a part where I was kind of like, I don't know why. There's these black insects or spiders in Monster Hunter World. If you remember, what is it again? Ancient Highlands. It's one of the maps, and there's one where you fight the very, very bony looking creature that likes to spin everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. So in one of the nests it has, there's like these black insects that jump on you and attack you if you're trying to carve stuff. In Monster Hunter World, the movie, those specific insects are now like 16 times bigger than they need to be, and they hunt and peck like spiders. And it's like, why are we focusing on this in the first 30 minutes of the movie? You have Diablos right outside being the big thing you want to attract, and yet this is the thing we focus on for the first half an hour. We can skip past this. Let's move on. Get to Diablos. Let's go. And then even in the film, like the Rathalos, which is even in comparison to the game, the Rathalos are always fairly big and quite annoying to fight. This one in the movie is like 100 times bigger than anything in the game. You're like, why is this thing so huge? It makes an AC-130 look like a paper plane. I'm not joking. The thing was massive in the movie. I'm like, this thing is huge. But then, obviously, when they announced that this was coming out for the film was coming out, Capcom had a mission for the game where you play as Mila Jovovich's characters, Artemis, I think I remember correctly, Artemis, and then you fight that massive Rathalos at the end. Yeah, and you're like, okay. And then she looks like a Lego man trying to fight against. She looks so tiny comparison. Like, so you've seen like how like some people fight the monsters. You can run up to it, you can smash it. You kind of have a fair chance. I was watching Maximilian do the mission playthrough. He did the dual blade Beyblade down the Rathalos' spine. He went down there for 5 minutes. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of damage numbers for 5 minutes. Just going from one end to the other. That's how big it was. It was like it was crazy to watch. But the thing is, I was very. When I heard the movie was coming out, I saw the original trailer that he posted, and I was like, this is going to be not that great a movie. I'll watch it, but I won't willingly pay money to go see it type situation. I'll be like, I'll wait for the stream, or if it's a popcorn movie on a Sunday or something like that. You'll watch it if it's on. And I was talking to Fug at the time about it, because we were doing a lot of Monster back then. And I was like, you know what? It's not that good, that trailer that showed off. And then there was the Chinese trailer, which made it look even more better. And I was like, I'll take that back. I'll go see that. I will go see it. Okay. And then I was like, I've seen it, and I'm actually quite impressed by it. It was actually fairly, fairly decent. They do cheekily set it up for a sequel, but will it get a sequel? I don't know. Maybe it might, but it probably won't have the same characters in it again. That I'm pretty sure of, unless Mila Jovovich is willing to do 7 movies of Monster Hunter World as they get progressively worse.
What was the series that she did a couple of years ago? Was it Resident Evil?
Probably.
Yeah, those were the last set of movies she the whole Resident Evil franchise. She did 9
movies of that or whatever it was.
Yeah. She did all of them. I didn't realize it, but I think it was in the last 2 movies. Her actual daughter played the holographic version of Alice in the movies, and I was like, oh, okay, that doesn't make it any better. But yeah, she's done all of them. But I was telling my chat this the other day. We were talking about Monster Hunter, and I told them that on one. This must have been last year sometime, or maybe the year before. I was at home on a Saturday, bored out of my brain because I didn't want to play any games, but I couldn't find anything to watch. So I turned onto Netflix. And sometimes when I turn onto Netflix, I struggle to find anything on Netflix. Considering how broad the library is, you're like, I don't fancy watching that. I don't fancy doing this. Do I want to watch this? Can't bother with this. And then for some bizarre reason, Resident Evil 7's final chapter movie was up. And I'm like, why am I so obsessed with trying to watch this? I sat down to watch it. And I was like, oh my God, this film is trash. An hour and a half of my life watching this movie, and yet this is the best thing I could think of to watch on a Saturday. This is how much I was that bored and needed something to take me that I ended up resorting to Resident Evil 7 to this. And I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. Why am I still watching this? Oh, it was bad. Because I've watched all the others up into it, but even then I was like, I didn't really pay attention to those movies after number 1. So I was kind of, oh, yeah, that happened. And then this happened. Oh, yeah, that kind of happened. And as soon as I got to number 7, I was like, I don't care. Why did I watch this?
I know I've watched some of them. I couldn't tell you which ones or whether or not they were in order.
You just merged 7 movies together. They were like this long.
Oh, it's kind of like the Saw films. The Saw films, because the way that they like sort of a mix match and interject with each other, but at the same time tell one big story. I kind of feel like that's what Resi was for me. The whole
probably someone who was
more, or however many it was.
Yeah, if someone who's more of a fan of Resi would probably like agree. Where's Phenom? He's watched them. Let's get him on. He would openly admit that he hates those movies. I don't think he's even watched some of them, but he's like, yeah, that was just atrocious. I'm like, but you're a Resi fan. You know everything Resi. You must embrace the movies as well. But yeah. Oh my word. That is just, it was just, that's what happens on a bored Saturday night. I watched that bad a movie and I'm like, this is terrible. I might just go back to gaming.
Don't want to go to bed.
Yeah. Oh, but speaking of gaming, you guys have been like hardcore on Valheim.
Oh yes.
Yeah, you guys have been hardcore on it. Now, I've been watching you guys stream. Like you guys, Deers, and everyone in the Crusader community. I've been watching you guys play it. I'm not gonna lie. I saw Tex, you sent me the link to check it out, and I was looking at it going, it's just Viking Rust for me, and I got immediately put off by it. But watching you guys play it, you're having fun playing it, which is funny. And then I was like, this looks like you guys are having fun. The troll thing on Diz is quite funny. Every time, before I tell you, before I mention what happened in this clip that we got, Diz built a base and got attacked by, I think it was 3 trolls at once or something so crazy like that, and all he had was like a hammer, and he barely put up a fence as the trolls were pushing in. I was cracking up watching it, but I didn't say anything because I was like, I'm just gonna leave him to do it. I want to see how bad he survives, if that. And then I think he hid in his house. While third person peeking over the fence to see if he could see where they were. And he was like, just leave. And then I think it was maybe a week later, Jay had put up a troll head outside of Diz's porch on the balcony. And I clipped it and I was like, I clipped it thinking it was really funny. And I was like, this is so hilarious. Diz, this is the funny thing, was I was watching it and Diz just was just doing what he does, opens the door, because I saw it the minute he turned towards it. I went, I can see what's that. That's troll head. And then Diz just walks up to it, opens the door. Holy crap, there's a troll here. And it's just a head on a pike, obviously. But it's like, dude, how did you not notice it? I saw it peeking over the door.
That's the thing. When you watch the clip back, you can clearly see it. Yeah, and he's just obviously it's not in his peripherals.
He has a widescreen monitor, which is even funnier. That should be very in his peripherals. But how would you not see it with a monitor that wide?
So when we started playing the game, it was a save on Tex, like Steam.
Yeah.
We realized that it was going to kind of be quite a popular sort of game. So we exported that save and put it onto a game server. Mm-hmm. And the first day that Diz had logged into the game, when he got attacked by everything, was the day after we put it onto a game server. So he hadn't been on since we'd played 4 days before.
Yeah.
And within about 25 minutes of him being in the game, he got raided by a bunch of trolls. Mm-hmm.
It's quite funny. I mean, I even sent him a clip.
It was a Sunday afternoon, and I was sat here and I was doing a quest on Destiny 2, and I kind of had his stream up over on my other monitor, and I just kind of looked over like, the fuck is happening? Literally, the server had only been up for a day, 2 days or something like that, and he's been on for 25 minutes and he's already getting raided. Right, okay, I need to back out of this quest. I need to get out of this quest. I was so hungover as well. I just kind of jumped into his Discord voice chat. It's like, what the fuck have you done? It's not my fault. It's not my fault.
Wasn't that when his house was still at the beach as well?
Yeah,
probably. If he was in that first week,
he was around. So we've got a community base, and the community base was getting attacked. He was there getting resources or whatever, because we've got that set up for everyone who wants to come and get some stuff. And he just got raided the time that he was there on the server on his own.
See, this is the thing with Diz. Diz will be one of those guys. Yeah, Diz will be one of those guys like you be like, let's do a community, and then Diz will be like, I'm gonna do my own place, and he'll venture off 15 miles down the road by a beach. Like, this is a good place, not realizing he's camped outside a troll hut, and then he's like, this is mine. The troll's like, this dude just come into our back garden. What the hell? Raid him. I'm surprised Diz doesn't get raided by like wolves at the same time, or like goblins as well.
That can happen later with the wolves.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I know there's skeleton warriors and stuff like that. I know they're in the game. I've seen that.
Yeah. So essentially, the further and further, like the more and more bosses that you defeat, I don't know whether it's like defeat as a whole server or defeat as yourself. But like, say for example, as soon as you defeat the first boss, then you can start getting raided by the meadows area of enemies. As soon as you beat the second boss, you can start getting raided by the second area of enemies, and then so on and so forth up to the fifth boss. Now, right, the fourth area.
Let me ask you a quick question. When you beat a boss, does it open up a new area, or does it like just mean you've got more more ads will come in to said where you are?
Yes.
Is it like you fight the bosses in the same dungeon, or is it like you go exploring?
They're all spread out around the area, around the world. So, say, for example, the first boss is always relatively close to spawn because obviously it needs to be.
Yeah.
But when you defeat the first boss, it gives you a big antler, which then allows you to go into the Black Forest area, which is the second biome, and then you can start mining for copper and tin to make bronze, so that you can start making bronze armor, bronze weapons, and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you defeat the second boss, you then get a key, which then allows you to go into the swamp and unlock the crypts, which is where you get the skeletons, the draugrs, the blobs, and all of that lot. And then
which is where we're at as a community at the moment.
So you're in the second boss, or you've beaten the second boss now?
We've beat the second boss. We're
working towards the third.
Yeah, we're working on our way to the third at the moment. A lot of us are now kind of armored up, weaponed up and everything, and we're about ready to go and take on the third boss.
Cool.
But after the third boss, then you can start getting stuff from the mountain area, which is where you start getting the wolves. So you can guarantee as soon as we beat the third boss, you can get attacked and raided by wolves and stuff from that area.
I just have a slight suggestion, just like the paddock that houses dislikes. If that should, for some reason, be left unlocked and unguarded, and for some reason a trail of meat should lead into Dislikes as a home, blame it on the trolls.
Well, it was just the other day that he had put a ward on his house to protect it from other people.
You can do that? Okay.
Yeah, so essentially it's kind of an griefing thing.
You can learn magic, or is it just like an actual ward that you...
It's not necessarily magic. It's just an item that you can craft. You put it in the middle of your house, and then it gives you a rather wide area around your house that other people can't use unless they are also on the ward. So to put another person on the ward, you'd have to deactivate it. They then use it, and then they're part of the ward, and you can reactivate it again. And then they can come in your house, you build and everything else. Like Senpie, I think it was either last night or the night before, allowed me onto his ward so that I can help him build his place back up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, what happened to your place, Senpie? Trolls again? Was it Diz?
A team of 3. I went AFK over the weekend whilst I was building part of my base up, whilst just casually over the weekend. Went AFK to take a phone call. When I come back, there were 3 trolls walking away from my base, and half of my house had just basically been knocked down.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of damage they can do. But yeah, so the ward is something that you can craft. It creates a wide area around your house or whichever part of land that you do, and basically stops anyone else from doing anything within that area.
Okay.
So obviously...
It just doesn't stop mobs.
No, it doesn't. So Diz had put one in his house, and what I've actually done over the last half a week and over the weekend is essentially take all the tree seeds that we've got as a community and started planting them all over the place, surrounding everyone's bases in trees to try and obviously reforest the area because it was just barren.
Yeah.
It didn't look like we'd been attacking the Amazon rainforest or something like that because it
just
no trees.
You just deforested an entire area and you were like, well, this was once a rainforest, now it's a desert.
So I basically replanted a load of stuff, but I'd planted the bigger trees around Dizzy's house.
I heard about this. That he
he logged in, saw all the trees, and just went, mad because I'd already put on the Discord that it was me that had planted trees about the place. He went mad at me.
Yeah.
So he chopped down all the trees around his place. But the thing is, coming out of the front of my house, there's quite a wide path that leads to the community house, or the community base, whatever you want to call it. And what I'd done is I'd planted strategically the normal kind of beech trees along the path to kind of line it to make it look nice. Now, over the weekend, he came on, started chopping down the trees again.
Oh no! Okay.
I was like, dude, I'm trying to line the path here to make it look nice and everything, and he was just attacking it. So he said he's going to keep chopping them down as long as they keep popping up. So I said, fine, dude, I'm just going to keep planting it then because it means more wood for everyone. So I don't really mind. 2 minutes later, he logged off.
You've already got tired.
So essentially, what I've had to do is I've had to re-destroy all of the trees around his house and then post pictures on there and everything just to make sure that he will carry on playing.
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. I mean, to be fair, you guys still have a fair amount. You still have a fair amount of things to do in the game. It's still in early access, right?
It's still in early access, and we're not even like we are so infant in where it's there's I think 5 bosses, and we've only taken out 2 so far.
Yep.
Yeah. I know watching... a couple of us have been. Go on.
No, I was going to say I'll let you finish, and I'll tell you afterwards.
Oh yeah, so a couple of us have kind of like been out exploring, and we're trying to build bring as much resources back for the whole community as we can, but we're also trying to do the bosses in order with everyone from the community.
Yeah,
it's just trying to get everyone together at the same time.
Oh yeah, that's always the way though, isn't it? Always the way, it's just timing. Yeah. I was going to say I was watching Glad run Valheim, because he's jumped on I think this week or the last week. He's been like hardcore grinding that game, and I think he's already at the point where he's at the end of the game, and he was now like, right, now that I've literally kitted up to be like a proper Viking and everything, I'm gonna go sailing and see if I can find the edge of the world. He literally sailed off the edge of the map. And I was like what? I was like, dude. And then he was like, it'll be fine. And after he was like, oh no, and he just went off the edge. I'm like, bye, dude.
See, I have this thing with early access games. It's like I don't like burning through them as quickly as possible. Yeah. I like to take my time. I like if I was playing this solo, I wouldn't have even gone to the first boss yet, and the game's been out a month. I'd have literally been spending about 4 weeks just gearing up to do this one boss.
Yeah,
but because we've got such a strong community and people who know that what they're doing, it's one of those things that we can kind of like push forward when we need to or want to.
No, that's good.
But there's still updates coming out for the game. They're still releasing patches. There's still, I don't want to call it DLC. What are they calling it? They're calling it releases. There's like
it's
that are coming out within the next couple of weeks.
Oh, okay.
Well, I don't. It's not weeks. It's next couple of months. Like I think the first one is called a Home and Hearth update, where they're going to be adding a lot more house building items and furniture and all that kind of stuff. Because at the moment, everything that you can build is practically just square. So you have to be very kind of rectangular with how you build. Obviously, you can change the angles as to which you build. Like I've managed to build 2 castle towers with my place at the moment.
Now I have to ask though: did you put ladders or stairs in there?
Stairs now. I changed that to stairs. But what they're going to be doing in the Home and Hearth update is they're going to be bringing in circular items so that you can actually make something properly circular, because otherwise you have very, very big circles or very, very dodgy angles with when you're trying to build in a circle. So it just makes it more awkward. So I'm really, really looking forward to the new circular items that they're going to be bringing in. And then I think after that, they've mentioned that they're going to be adding more bosses to the game, as well as the potential of sub bosses.
Okay, like mini world bosses, mini bosses?
Yeah.
Roaming
mini
bosses,
essentially.
Yeah.
And then apparently there's also some extra biomes coming in. Apparently they've got like 2 or 3 extra biomes that are planned. You can already find like 2 of them in there, but they're pretty much empty because they're still working on them.
Oh, okay.
So there is going to be a lot added to this game.
So they're planning to make it like a really, really big open world style game then?
Pretty much, yeah. But in all honesty, as I've seen people say about Valheim, this is one of the most fleshed out, well-working, well-playing early access games that we have seen in an incredibly long time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
There's been the issues have been few and far between. I mean, the patches have been fixing quite a lot of stuff, But honestly, the worst of it that I think we're probably seeing at the moment as a community is obviously the issue that we had at the very, very start of it of joining the servers where the server list wouldn't populate with everything. I think it maxed out at like 1,000 servers where there was like easily 10,000 plus servers available at the time.
Oh, okay.
They added in the IP box so that you can type in the IP server and join it directly. They added in more patches for that server list, and they've patched a whole bunch of other stuff as well. So they are definitely working on it. They're definitely fixing a whole bunch of stuff. But other than that, it's just lag really that we're seeing and frame drops and stuff. And apparently they're already working on fixing that as well. So
that's good. That's good. At least they're keeping up to date with it. That's good that they're doing this. Mm-hmm. Is it designed to be a live service game, or is it's like a full game, but just it's going to be like released as one full game but open world style thing?
It's going to be one full game that's just open world.
Okay. Oh, okay, that's still pretty good though. I mean, with the amount of work, and it's been. You say it's been out for a month, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Just around the start of February. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it sold over 5 million copies already.
I mean, I'm not surprised. The first time I heard of it was when it was in the same week that you sent me the link for it. But that same week, I think it was either a day after you sent me the link. Code Carnage was streaming it, and I popped and see Code play, and I was like. Yeah, this is then obviously when Code's playing it, he's hosting to like God knows how many thousand people watching it. Like people are going to pick it up, and I'm not surprised it did as well as it's done because every time I see on the Twitch directory, there's always at least between 50k to 100, depending on who's streaming it at any given time. Mm-hmm. And it looks like a lot of people are enjoying it, so it looks like it's done well for it. Unfortunately, I have to say that it's not something that gripped me, so I was kind of like, nah. As much as I would have liked to join you guys for a community game, I didn't want to go through what I went with Rust on this game. And every time I see it, I'm always like, it's Viking Rust for me. So I was like, I'm good, but you guys enjoy. And you have been, so that's good. Yeah.
Yep, no, it's been fun. I'm sorry, I was taking a swig of drink.
Yeah.
Just looking at Senpie. Are you going to speak, sir?
And there's me looking at you two like, so that's good to hear that you like Valheim then.
Yes.
The resounding silence was good.
That's kind of all I've really been playing for the last, certainly at least the last month. I've not really had anything else on the docket.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair enough.
It's been a very sort of like slow start to the month, slow start to the year, sorry.
Isn't it always the case though, isn't it? I mean, considering the last year and obviously how we started off into 2021, there's nothing really major in terms of game releases. You get the odd gem that pops up and everyone's like, oh, that's quite good. And that would surprisingly entertain a lot of people. I mean, I've been doing my bread and butter, which is Destiny, and that's been interesting this last week and a half of how that's gone down.
Yeah. You had the anime canon game as well.
Yeah, the Valkyria Chronicles anime and tanks. Yeah, that was I had fun doing it.
That looked fun.
The downside was that game was the port of that game from console to PC. It's bad because it's so effing loud. I remember when I first started playing it. I think it was within the first week. Tex was in the stream. He was like, "We need to lower it." I'm like, "Lower." Yeah. So I was doing everything in OBS, and then I had to literally lower the game volume on the other PC. I was like, "This thing is crazy loud." Every time I thought I lowered it, I'd go back and be like, "This thing is still crazy loud." Or something would happen. I'm like, "Why is it so loud?" Oh my god, my ear's about to explode. But that was a fun game. I have number 4 to play, which I'll probably start up soon at some point. Because apparently I found out 1 and 4 are in the same timeline. For the game history, whereas 2 and 3 are set, I think, after 1 and 4. So I was like, I'll jump onto that eventually.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, that game was fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Went back to Destiny just in time for the new season, and this season has only been 3 weeks old now, and God, it feels like it's been longer. But this last week and a half has probably been one of the most funnest weeks I've had on Destiny 2 because of how the community has unintentionally found a glitch to make the game more fun. And Bungie have been like, you know what? We're glad you found it. Have fun with it. We're in no rush to patch what was happened. We were like, let's do more.
Okay. Oh, they're actually going to leave a patch that people enjoy an exploit for?
Yeah, so here's the thing. So recently it was discovered that you could turn a 6-man activity into a 12-man activity.
Oh, yes, I heard about that.
So it's been hilarious. So the other day, I think it was Monday this week, I was in Fran's stream, and he was like, "Oh, we're gonna run a raid." He goes, and we were like, "Should we do a 12-man raid?" He was like, "How do we do a 12-man raid?" And I'd seen this like people over the course of the weekend previously do 12-man raids, and they look absolutely crazy. It's like there were some crazy clips of people just murking bosses in like a third of the time it would normally take to do it, and it's just people doing the most funniest things. So we were like, let's run the new Deepstone Crypt raid 12-man. Let's go. Oh my god, it's one of those things where it works on obviously who's local to each other and who can get in. So obviously, for me, if the three of us would do it, for example, it would be like Senpie would lead one group, I would have to be another group, and then we both have to sync up to launch in. So it'd be like Senpie would launch, do the countdown. As soon as he goes on to 2, I launch to join him, and then it should technically load 12 people into the raid at once. Sometimes it doesn't, obviously, depending on how quick or slow you are. And then you'll get like 12 people on the list, and it's like too many people are in this, and then it kicks you out and you start again. But it was crazy fun. Like, you just didn't take it seriously. Everyone's trying to do something. It was a lot of fun. And Bungie were like, it actually is very fun to watch. And it kind of, people like, maybe gives them ideas to maybe create in the future 12-man activities. Like, who knows? Like, because you can hold, I think it's 16 people you can have in one party at one time. Or on a friends list, you can have it up to 16, I think it is, or maybe 18. So it's like you could do big party activities in Destiny, and maybe in the future, who knows? But it was funny that they left it in. But then on top of that good side, there was something bad that happened last Friday, which was very amusing because Trials, which
didn't turn up.
Zerd always turns up. He just doesn't really have anything to sell. But Trials of the Nine, which is obviously the weekly PvP competitive playlist where you can get like unique weapons and guns and so forth, rolled out last week, and people were playing it. And then apparently on Sunday night there was a video that went live because Bungie tweeted out, just a heads up, we're going to be canceling the rest of Trials of the Nine this weekend, or Trials of Osiris this weekend, because of an unforeseen exploit has happened, and we're taking Trials offline. And people were like, why? What happened? And there was a 10-minute video of this UK YouTuber who explained how people in China had found a way to exploit the Flawless Victory card. It was the most funniest thing of how they did it. But it only works on Steam, though. This is the thing. And people were calling it the Chinese, what was it called? Chinese casino gambling. It was the most. So it was a weird system that for some reason the entire Chinese Destiny community had somehow agreed on, and this was like a system they all like, this is what we're doing, it's gonna work. And it's essentially you going flawless, getting 7 wins to get to the lighthouse, to get the pinnacle gear without having to actually kill anyone. So what you would do was it became known as the Hukke Corp what do they call Hukke Corp? I forgot what I think it was. There's an emblem for a weapons company in the game called Hukke. And what it was, if you had a fire team, 2 of you had to have that emblem on, and 1 person had to have like a non-Hukke emblem. And then you would match into a group, and then it would be like, if they saw people on the other team had the Hukke emblem, the team that didn't have it would leave, granting you the win. And then they would do rinse and repeat, and then it would be. Then there was a thing where every time someone would join in to get them the win, they would be like, "Oh, this person doesn't have Hukke emblem." Other team jump out type situation. And then they would do like a number between like 0 and 10, and then they would communicate to the other teams like how it would go and so forth. And whoever had the highest number would be the team that would stay, and the other team would back out type situation. So it was that type of thing. So it would be like the one person who didn't have the Hukke emblem was the person you were carrying to the flawless victory, and then the ones who didn't would be like, oh, we can burn a card, it doesn't matter, but you have to. The person without that main emblem would have to be the person with a burn account or burn character or a main character ready to go. So you have to jump in and out quickly. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, it's mainly a Steam issue because of how quickly you can join and type messages to people and so forth on Steam. You can't really do it in console, but because it affects Steam, you can't be like, we're disabling it on PC only. Console users have at it. You know, there'll be an exploit there at some point. But as of right now, Trials of the Nine is officially on hold, on hiatus until they fix it. And we're like, man. and I was trying to get back into competitive a bit more, because I wanted to try and get more of the loot from this season, because it's like new gear and so forth. But that being said, though, this season for Destiny has been pretty interesting. A lot of people have liked the new content they've thrown in and stuff like that. So it's been good. But that has been what I've been playing mostly.
I've sort of dipped my toe in and out of it. I've not gone full dive on it just yet.
I mean, to be fair, with the way they've planned out the next year of content, I think it's until season. When's the Witch Queen out next? Oh no, VOG's back next season, which is what I'm looking forward to.
Yes.
Vault Glass.
I remember you saying about Vault Glass is coming back.
Yeah, but the thing here's what they're doing for Vault Glass. So for those who don't know, or for those who do know, Vault Glass was the very, very first raid for Destiny 1. And back when Destiny 1 had that raid out, there was a world's first raid. But in this instance, though, it's kind of like we're going to do it. The Bungie have said they're doing a world first raid. So 24 hours on the day of launch, there's going to be like the contest modifier and everything's going to be on. But you can't just run in and be like, first person to complete Vault Glass, here's your championship belt, well done. They're like, it's because everyone who's played Destiny 1 knows how that raid works.
Yeah.
So, and then this time they're like, we're going to change it up. First people to complete the raid within 24 hours, plus the challenges we've set aside for it, because apparently it's going to be like challenges and stuff that you need to get done to officially say you've completed world's first. Then you get classed as the winner of the belt. It's not first to the end to win it. They're going to also introduce a high difficulty level. I think it's Master and Grandmaster for it. New weapons, slightly new mechanics, and I was like, oh, I'm just excited for it to be coming back. I'm just really excited for that to be coming back. And they got rid of sunsetting, which was a huge thing that has been on Destiny's radar for like the last year. So I was like, okay, I just deleted stuff I shouldn't have deleted now type situation.
Now, if they are bringing Vault of Glass back, are we getting remakes of the original weapons?
Yes, they'll be considered adept weapons.
Are we getting Galahorn back?
Galahorn.
Here's the thing. As much as Galahorn is loved in the Destiny community,
that'll be the third time.
It would be the third time, but I don't think they're bringing it back because the thing is, though, there are other weapons that outdo it in terms of like DPS and stuff. There are variations of Galahorn already in Destiny 2. So there's the Warkiv Coil, which is kind of like it, but it's not as powerful in terms of tracking. There's the Eyes of Tomorrow, which is another version of the Galahorn, but this one it's weird because it's a kind of like it needs to visually track onto the opponent, and then it will shoot off and attack said player. So it does sort of like the same thing the Wolfpack rounds used to do, but it's more, you need longer tracking essentially. So if you took like Warkiv Coil and Eyes of Tomorrow and fuse them together, you might have a Galahorn 1.7. But that's about as good as it's going to get, you know. But the thing is that they're right now, like rocket launchers, as good as they are, they're not the best thing to use. And the Eyes of Tomorrow, which is the raid exotic weapon, it's been accidentally nerfed by 50%, so it's not even that strong. Even though I've got it, I'm like, oh, I finally got it, and it's now weaker than anything else I have.
Well, what about the Icebreaker?
That's never coming back. The reason is because here's the reason why. The reason they're not bringing it back is because they're essentially trying to get rid of anything that gives you recycled ammo. While the Icebreaker was great in Destiny 1, there have been perks in the game that kind of do the same thing. There was, what was it, Mulligan and a few others did it. Whispered Breathing was another one that you could recycle ammo back out from it. But they were like, no, we're just getting rid of that. We're reworking anything that gives you ammo back for free. So you were like,
God damn it.
I know. I mean, don't get me wrong. Icebreaker was a fun sniper, but you were just like, wait up here. Oh, it's backfire. Wait up here, fire.
Well, that's what I always used to do when I used to play with you and Razor and obviously everyone else in the group back in original VOG. Was because I had the Icebreaker, like very first area, I would always just sit up the top and just snipe everything as you guys all jumped down to try and tackle everything. I was the nice support and I really, really enjoyed that. And that's what I loved about it.
There probably will be something similar that you could do in that nature. But the thing is, though, with the way the system works now in Destiny with like mods and so forth, you could have one sniper and have like 35 rounds on you and be like, I could just snipe up here. And if you've got the right perch, you could probably like refund a bullet back into your gun. And it's like, oh, I got a bullet back because I did 3 shots in one. And it gives you a bullet back, stuff like that. There's always perks that give you it, but the amount of ammo you can hold, it's going to be insane anyway. So, but But yeah, it's just one of those things where it's good to reminisce about those old weapons, but I honestly wouldn't want Icebreaker back in the game. I want Fatebringer back because I love that weapon to death, but
literally Icebreaker and Galahorn are the only two weapons I actually remember from Destiny 1. That's why I always want them back.
They're the most iconic ones, that's why. Because Galahorn was like...
Was it Kostov? Kostov, I remember.
Kostov, yeah. It was
really,
the white AR.
Really going for that exotic.
I remember that. That was hilarious. I still remember the funny thing was
the first exotic I went for.
Really? Kvostov?
Yeah.
That was a little bit late into D1's life cycle though, but until they made that exotic, but yeah. That was some good times. But yeah, that's the Destiny thing at the moment I'm looking forward to. This season's more like thing with the Cabal. They're kind of like it's kind of finishing off the year 1 D2 storyline with the Cabal invaded and so forth. The Red Wall. So this is sort of like a continuation of that for this season. So you get to see what happens, and every week there's like a new storyline leading in. This one's based on Callus's daughter coming in and trying to make an alliance with the girl with the Guardians and so forth. I don't know if you've seen that video of Lance Reddick, the guy who does the voice of Zavala, reading out the meme.
Who's a legend.
Yeah.
No,
so if you look in my Discord under Destiny, there's a meme that pops up where you've got Keitel, the Callus's daughter, saying like to Zavala, kneel. And then he just does this. There's a screenshot of just Zavala looking like this. And then after this, it's this long text. He's like, excuse me, kneel? I don't think so. And he just rants off about every achievement your Guardian has done, generic, like just generalized. It's like, and it just goes off because we've done this. I have a Guardian that can do this, and then this, and then this. And if I told him to, I could turn you into a gun and say that he should hunt you down because Ares will make you a weapon, and stuff like that. It's just everything that's generalized. Yeah, it's hilarious. And then he read it out on Twitter. Because someone would be like, Lance Reddick, would you read this? And so he did it in the voice of Zavala, and everyone was like, yay! It was brilliant. It was so funny. I mean, that would have been an even funnier thing to put in that little cutscene, but it was still good as a meme nonetheless.
Him and what's his name? Keith Lloyd. Keith
Lloyd.
He's another like video game voiceover artist. Okay. I just want to see him in the game, them two in the game together.
I'm thinking of Keith Lemon.
No, not
I was like, there is no way that dude does game voices. No way.
No, he's like, I want him to start doing game voices.
I was like, wait a minute.
He does the voice. He does the voice of a president twice. I think he does it in Saints Row 3. And he's also the voice of the president in Rick and Morty.
Okay.
He's like Lance Reddick. He's got a very sort of definitive, very bassy, authoritarian voice.
Wait, Keith Lloyd, he's in Mass Effect, isn't he? He's the one who did the voice of Spawn.
He may be in Mass Effect as well, yeah.
Yeah, he's Captain Anderson from Mass. Speaking of Mass Effect, that's getting the Legendary Edition release, which I'm really excited for in May.
It's getting a release, and is it a new game as well?
It's a remaster. It's a remaster of the originals. So they've obviously upped the graphics to 4K and so forth, and they've done a little tweaking here and there and so forth. It's not a complete rework, so to speak, but they've done improvements. I don't know what number one's going to be like because I just remember number one's gameplay being horrendous, but I love the story. But then there is talk of a new Mass Effect game in the works because obviously that trailer dropped end of January. I think that trailer dropped, that new one where they were like, new Mass Effect project coming soon, and I was like, oh my god, sploosh everywhere. But and then obviously then they was sploosh. But then obviously the news of Anthem, and they were like, we're pulling people off of Anthem 2.0 to go work on Dragon Age and Mass Effect. I'm like, damn right, Skippy.
Yeah. I mean, Lance, as I've told you about Anthem, I've still got the PS4 game in its cellophane wrap. From not last Christmas, but the Christmas before.
And do you know what the best thing is, though? You could donate that to a museum. They'd be like, there was once a time when this game was good. And now it's a masterpiece.
Next to E.T.
But yeah,
I do feel sorry for Anthem because I sort of enjoyed that game like quite a lot.
I did too.
I couldn't live stream it for fuck, but I could play it like off stream, and it worked fine. And what I played of it, it was really, really, really enjoyable. It was a good time waster.
Oh, definitely. Like you and I had some good streams on it.
I don't remember the story at all.
The story was atrocious, dude. And
I remember like gearing out my javelin in just like hot pink and yellow.
I remember,
and just like flying around, doing little bits here and there.
Yeah,
that's all I remember of Anthem.
My memory of Anthem is I'm always a huge fan of stories in games. There's always a thing like that's the thing that's got to grip me. If the story's got to be good to grip you to continue, that's one of the reasons why Mass Effect has always been one of my favorite games, because of the storytelling on top of how the game's action has progressively gotten better through each version of the game that came out. But Anthem, while the game was good, I looked at the story and was like, the hell has happened to this story? Like, I mean, seriously, this is where we went. We've got this giant storm threatening to ruin the planet. What do we do about it? Nothing. The mechanic wants to steal the legendary armor. I'm sorry, what? Who cares about him? No one. I was like, where did that even come from? And I was like, this is and then the guy who I thought was the big bad, well, you were useless, but you were dead halfway through the thing. And I'm like, enough. Yeah. I don't care. Get out of here. And it does the thing, like the story had no like flow, and then you were facing off against things that didn't make. I was like, I don't know what this giant freaking mud creature thing he is. It was like it really didn't make any sense. And people are like, it's this, and the strongholds, which was supposed to be the repeatable farming areas, you did one, and you could. And the thing was, what was it? It was Grandmaster. Then I think it was Master. Or the other Master and Grandmaster was the difficulty levels. But the thing was that if you went to Master and then Grandmaster, the loot drops were the same. It didn't make a difference what you ran it on. So I was like, well, that's just pointless. And then the funny thing was, I remembered this because it was like me, my brother, and my Destiny race team at the time. We were jumping on it to do the stronghold, and we were getting double loot drops for like legendaries. We're like, sweet, let's get the things we haven't got. No more than 10 hours later, and Bioware patched the shit out of it. It was like, you just ruined the game. So what's the point? And then after that, it made it impossible for me to get legendaries. I'm like, well, F this then. I don't care. I'm leaving. And then even Glad got banned off the game as well for that, which was quite funny. He was like, oh, I got banned because he went, if I remember correctly, he went hiking over the weekend, came back on Monday to find out he got banned from Anthem. And he was like, guys, I'll see you back on Monday for Anthem. Came back and he was like, well, it's happened, guys. I've been banned off Anthem. And everyone was like, what? Why? I mean, to be fair, he did kind of exploit, a flaw in the game. And it was like, well, that's kind of your fault. And then he got banned, which is quite funny. It was like, well, that's what happens.
I still hold a grudge against Anthem from the beta for killing my PC. So
I remember you couldn't run it at all.
Yeah.
Oh no, it ran. It ran in the highest graphics. I was running it just fine, not a problem. But then it killed my SATA cable to my hard drive. I honestly thought it had killed my PC. I thought all my hard drives had died because it wouldn't boot. It just died and wouldn't boot. So I ended up having to replace my SATA cable, but I honestly thought it killed my PC. So that is why I left it in the cellophane wrap. I didn't want it killing my PlayStation.
The hot 30 frames per second is like the PS4 is like, no, turn off.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I think most PS4s towards the end of their life cycle all starting to sound like Harrier jump jets anyway. Their fans went like super crazy. It was like, what is that noise? Why does it sound like it's taken off? It was like, okay, no playing games on you anymore. Welcome PS5.
I've still got mine from launch day.
I have mine from launch day as well. And then I've got the Pro, but then it still sounds like the Pro is about to lift off. So I only use the Pro for streaming now, so...
Mine's currently sat underneath the TV in the living room. It constantly makes a sound like there's a disc stuck in it.
Oh, wow, it's doing that.
When there is no disc in it. So it's a museum piece. Now it's next to the N64 and the Mega Drive. It's just sat there unplugged.
Oh, good Lord.
See, I've got 3 in my house and not one of them have had a problem.
I think you're just lucky, dude.
More than likely. I've got mine, which is sitting on my desk at the moment, which is obviously what I've been playing Persona 5 on. which obviously isn't graphically demanding anyway. So it's not pushing the PS4 really, really hard. So it's not going to launch the fans up. But again, no problems. I've got one other TV, which we hear every so often, but it is 95% of the time used for Netflix, YouTube, and just general streaming. And then my kid's got one upstairs in his room, which is either watching Netflix or YouTube or playing some fighting games or anything. And as far as my knowledge goes, he's not had a problem with it either. So I don't know. I've had no problems.
Yeah, I've had a couple of friends who've been like I could hear them in the background of the game. And I'm like, dude, why have you got a Hoover on? He's like, no, that's the PlayStation 4. I'm like, what? And it's like, I mean, to be fair, like my sensitivity on my headphones isn't that high, so it's just a little bit like in the middle, or maybe slightly to the left or right of like whether it's game sound or chat. But I'm like, dude, are you hoovering again? He's like, no, it's the PlayStation. I'm like, all right, sorry, dude. It just gets that loud. I think it was a few people that I knew towards the tail end of it was like PlayStation was slowly like the fan was about to destroy itself. I'm like, all right, it's going. But yeah, I mean, that's just. I think most consoles, isn't it? Towards the end of their life cycles, they are gonna.
I think so. Yeah. Go. Obviously, it's inside dust buildup, but the only way you're really going to negate that is literally by opening it up, finding whatever warranty you may even have left, and just cleaning it up. So
yeah, that's very true, very true. I mean, that being said, though, outside of gaming, like since we last spoke, I have, in a weird way, binge watched a lot of stuff recently. Like I have just gone through a crazy binge watch of shows, TV shows, and anime. Just been like loads. So,
see, I don't watch a whole lot of stuff because obviously 9 times out of 10 I'm gaming. But over the last few days, as I've been doing crafting and gathering and stuff on Final Fantasy 14, I've just been chucking something on Netflix.
Yeah,
and I ended up watching something called Sweet Home on Netflix just recently.
That sounds familiar.
It's a South Korean drama thriller.
Yeah, I was about to say it sounds like a K drama that I saw recently. No, I saw that on my recommended list. Yeah.
Dude, really, really good.
Yeah,
do recommend it
because
if you get a chance.
Yeah, because what did I start to think? I think it was it Fullmetal? I started watching Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. I binge watched that all 65 episodes. I was like, I love this show. I forgot how good the writing in that is. Like the storytelling in that, to the animation, everything about the Brotherhood series is great. Binge watched that, got to the end of it, and then after that, I was like, I need to see something else. I then watched all 3 seasons plus the movie of Kuroko no Basuke. That was took me by surprise how good it was. I was like, this is actually really good. Really enjoyed that. I then sat down to watch the final season of Banshee, which Dinko and I had spoken about ages ago. But the reason I didn't watch the final season of Banshee was because when they had them on Sky, they were like, oh, by the way, here's seasons 1 to 3. 4's just coming out, but we're taking off season 3 literally 2 days before 4's allowed on Sky. And I'm like,
wow, okay.
I was like, what? I was like, okay, so I'm probably never going to watch season 4 ever. And then just by coincidence, it was on. So I was like, sweet, finished watching it, done. I did the season 5 of The Expanse the other day. That was like 10 episodes. I smashed that out. I think over the course of last weekend, it was like, that's done. And then I finished watching Gungrave not long ago. I think Gungrave was probably like. So I've been binge watching a lot just because I'm like I just wanted to watch something just for the sake of watching it. I just needed to like focus on it. So I did that. Watching Gungrave again was actually quite good because I remember that brings back memories of when Diz and I first watched the show, and we were watching it, and this was on a really, really badly subbed version of it. You know, you used to get those really bad pirate copies.
Yeah.
This is back in the day when Diz and I used to go to Chinatown.
Just said speaks in Japanese.
Well, it would say speaking in Japanese, but this one was, we were watching Gungrave for the first time, and I was at Diz's house, and this is when he was like crashing at his parents' place. And it was kind of like, he asked me to just come over and hang out. And we were watching Gungrave, and the main character's name is called Brandon Heat. But in the subtitled version that they had done, his name is called Brandon Shed. And we were like, what? I'm like, did I read that right? And then from there, we would jokingly call him Brandon Shed. And it was just hilarious. I mean, the series is great. But I think it's set in the same universe as like Trigun and stuff. So it was like, oh, this is absolutely hilarious. But it was good to reminisce watching that again. Now I think I need to sit down to watch. I think I'm going to start watching Full Metal Panic next because I've got the 4 seasons of that together. And I need to finish watching now or start rewatching again. But yeah, I've just been on a crazy binge of watching TV shows recently.
That's fair. I mean, it's
Fair
locked
enough.
down still, so
Yeah.
I only just recently started up watching Supernatural season 4.
Oh
So
yeah,
a few
you're watching
episodes
that.
of that in there.
How are you finding it?
Actually, still really enjoying it.
I with Supernatural kind of fell off. I think it was about season, I want to say 8, 9 is where I kind of not fell off, but I was kind of like, I wonder how much longer they're going to go with this type of situation. But yeah, I enjoy Supernatural. I'm glad it ended. I'm going to say it ended in a way that only that show could end. That's the only ending they could give that show, or for those characters. But after 15 seasons, I want to say
15 seasons. Yeah,
15 seasons, which I think is like the longest any WB show's ever had. But yeah, it was like they gave it a good send off. And then I think, what's his name, Jared Padalecki, he's gone on to do Walker, like the remake of Walker Texas Ranger. He's doing that now, and that I was like, why is there only 6 Yeah, it was literally not that long after they ended. Well, to be fair, they ended Supernatural, I think, officially ended last. When did they do their last scene? Last May or last June was they officially there? They filmed the last set of episodes. Okay. Yeah, and then after that, because he lives in Texas anyway, it's like, well, I can just literally film here in the backyard type situation. So it made things easy in terms of like COVID and whatnot. So they're not risking the entire production crew, and they're keeping everything kind of close, so to speak, or within the restrictions that they've been given and so forth. But that got renewed, I think, 3 episodes into the new season, and I was like, it's only been 3 episodes. How there's season 2 already? I was like, cool. But I've been enjoying that. It's not too bad. So. What about you, Senpie? You binge watch anything? You binge watch anything over there? Or not really?
I did. I've just finished the first arc of Blue Exorcist.
Nice.
Ooh,
nice.
I do enjoy that.
That is good.
I'm about to embark on the second arc, but I've only got a couple of days until my Netflix account expires, so I may have to source it otherwise. I'm halfway through. I've just finished again the first arc of season 2 of Sword Art Online. I saw that season 3 had started.
Yeah, they've just brought that over.
And I did all of season 1 of Demon Slayer.
What did you think? Yeah,
I really enjoyed it. I did really, really enjoy it. I think it there was a few sort of filler episodes that kind of carried it on, but didn't really need to be there.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I thought it was a really, really good show. Yeah. I really, really enjoyed it.
I do need to get back into that.
You need to finish watching it, dude. I keep telling everyone, like, the first, I think it was when Demon Slayer first came out, Funimation had the first 5 episodes, I want to say. First 5 episodes already, like, premiered to, like, people in the US. Like, they did a massive, like, screening for the first 5 episodes. And then everyone was like, oh, when do we get to see the first 5 episodes, like, elsewhere? And then I think they did episode 1 and 2 as a simulcast release for 1 and 2. And then afterwards, like 3, 4, and 5 weren't that long to follow afterwards. And then afterwards, it was like bi-weekly release, and it was just like a great show. Though I have to admit, though, the manga ending kind of was like, what? But overall, generally, Demon Slayer is a fantastic story. Animation, the movie is the biggest selling movie in Japan ever.
Wow,
it's gotten so much money since its release. It's now being what did I hear happen to it? I think it's being brought over to the US for screenings. It's been nominated for a load of awards now
really?
Because of how well it's done. Yeah, it's been nominated for a whole load of awards because it's outdone Miyazaki's, like, all of Miyazaki's films completely. And it even beat Titanic, which held the most money earned for a film released in Japan. It smashed it as well. And I was like, yeah, that film's getting recognition. So that's the next big thing for Demon Slayer coming out is the Infinity Train arc, which is that. And then they've already announced season 2, which is, I want to say the end of this year or 2022, I think, start of.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure it's the end of this year. They've got season 2 coming. So that's going to be interesting.
I look forward to that. It was a really, really good show.
Yeah, I love the fact it's so well animated. Like, UFO Table, who the company behind it, have done such great work making it animated. Like the action scenes, just everything about that is really, really good.
Aren't they? Isn't someone doing a remake of an old anime from the 90s? Which one was it? It was around about the same time as like Dragon Ball Z and Naruto started up originally. Oh fuck.
Bleach?
No, not well. Yeah, Bleach is being redone.
Well, it's not being redone per se.
Sorry. The Bleach anime is carrying on.
Live action.
Yeah, it's carrying on. Yeah. It's already done the live action. It's done the movie already.
It had the live action movie.
Yeah.
I thought there was a follow-up to it.
There is supposed to be a sequel to that. They wanted to plan it for a trilogy, but I don't know what happened with that. But there's an actual continuation to the anime coming soon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's rumored to be end of this year. That's when that's supposed to be coming. I think they said it was supposed to be October, November this year of when the Bleach anime concludes or comes back. Not concludes, but comes back. Kubotai, the guy behind obviously Bleach and whatnot, his Burn the Witch OVA was actually really, really good. But you haven't seen that. That was very, very interesting. I mean, it was a weird 3-episode OVA, which kind of had it kind of threw you in just after the beginning of something and then just before the middle of something. You're like, I don't understand what's happening, but you look like you want to continue with this, but nothing's happening.
Yeah. Okay.
Texas furiously trying to figure out what show is getting remastered.
Yep.
Do you have an
it's
idea?
literally coming out this season as well.
As in this season coming or next season?
I want to say spring 2021.
Okay, so it's in April, May time?
Yeah, I think so. I swear it's getting remade, and I cannot, for the life of me, remember the name of it.
Did you look on Crunchy? Because they normally have the list of it.
I'm just having a look on my anime list at the moment. Shaman King.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, I love Shaman King.
Mate, that is being redone. I cannot wait.
The thing is, though, I can understand why they're redoing it, because the first half of Shaman King that we got here in the UK on the Jetix was kind of everything that the manga had released up to date was animated for book to animation. And then after that, it was kind of unique stuff. The second half is which we no one ever got here in the UK. But then I managed to find my Asian brother's copy, and I got to see how that ended. And I was like, it's not a bad ending for what they were trying to do for that. But yeah, it was good still nonetheless. I'm glad they're redoing it. I think the only problem with Shaman King was the fact that the mangaka had tried to continue the story past the initial Shaman King storyline, and he'd done different variations and side stories. None of them caught on. I think Flower was the first official one, and then that got discontinued after I want to say 9 chapters. It wasn't a lot.
Right.
It was literally out for a short period, and then the editors were cancelled. No more. We need more Shaman King stuff, but not this.
Damn.
Yeah, that was 4 or 5 years ago, I think it was. They were just brutal for anything Shaman King. They were like, nope.
I just realised as well that Eden Zero is getting an anime.
Eden Zero?
Yeah.
Is that
from
East of Eden?
Fairy Tail. The Fairy Tail. Yeah, the guy created Fairy Tail and Rave Master. Yeah, I knew about that. It's got a game coming as well, apparently, Eden Zero.
See, I started reading Eden Zero. I just couldn't carry on with it because it is literally the same goddamn characters as Fairy Tail. It is nothing new, and I couldn't carry on with it.
Oh, dude, don't get me wrong. I will read it. I'm not hardcore. I need to read every chapter, but if I see it up, I'll read the chapter and what I've missed and so forth. But in terms of something that's going to be a big shonen thing, I was like, nah, this isn't it. It is quite literally a carbon copy of Fairy Tail. Literally character look for look. The only thing, the difference is the character's hair is black, whereas Natsu's is pink, and then Haru in Rave Master was silver. They're kind of all the same characters.
Yeah.
So you've not really. I mean, don't get me wrong. Great mangaka. He's made some legendary mangas and animes and so forth. He's made his name in the industry, but you are kind of a one-trick pony with characters.
Yeah.
A shame it is.
What's their version of happy called? Pissed off. What's the new meme? It's not going to be wow. It's going to be fuck off.
Isn't Chainsaw Man getting an anime as well in summer, I think?
I heard it was getting an anime, but I didn't know when it was scheduled for, but I heard there was one coming.
That is one I'm looking forward to. I'm trying to look it up at the moment.
Come on, Google.
Yeah, good old Google, mate.
Does it say when it's thing or not yet?
I don't know.
It may be scheduled for this year then, maybe like towards the end of the year.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe like the fall or winter season.
It was confirmed back in December apparently that it was going to be getting an anime adaptation.
But no date confirmed.
Not that I'm seeing, no.
Then that I would probably say the earliest you're looking at 2022.
People are not saying anything at the moment.
Yeah, people are expecting it in November.
Oh, yeah?
But there's nothing official yet.
Yeah. I would honestly say 2022 probably you'll get something.
Because the Chainsaw Man manga's finished now, hasn't it? So it's not like they have to wait for anything extra to carry on with the story. So
true. So I mean, it just depends on how many episodes they want to do a season and how frequently they want the seasons to be out. That's the thing, though. But it's the thing right now in anime where there's like you don't get anything more than they do the 12 episode seasons, and then they'll be like, oh, we're doing 2 occurs for that run, and you're like, oh, because there's 24 episodes. But then sometimes they'll be like, oh, here's 12 episodes, and I'm like, wait, 12 episodes for this show? What about the rest of the content? There's like so much more you can do. Why are you only giving it 12 episodes? And then they'll be like,
that's the one thing that has been bugging me over the last, I don't know, 5-6 years now with anime, is the fact that far too many of these shows will literally only run for the 12 episodes, whereas obviously before we had One Piece, Bleach, Naruto, Dragon Ball, and Pokemon, and all of these that would literally just release one every week.
I mean, technically they still do.
For anime.
They still do, but outside of a hugely established franchise, like all the ones you've just mentioned, they're not going to really do it. Like there are a majority of animes now are based off of light novels, and light novels only have so much material
content
what they can think. Like look, for example, at Sword Art Online. A lot of people hate that show and love it at the same time. But if you were to literally do another, you can't physically do another series of Sword Art Online after the current season ends, after War for Underworld, because quite literally there is no more they can do for another season. I'm literally, I think, 2 books behind where they are currently in terms of Japan to Western releases. And Sword Art Online's War for Underworld, it ends I think like a decade of books written by the manga, by the author and so forth, and that is a hell of a lot of content. The next set of the next 2 books after that, one is sort of like a filler book, sort of like to gives you sort of like an insight to what happened with some content. There was something that happened in season 3, and then the next book after that is sort of like the start of a brand new arc, and this arc is the final arc for Sword Art Online. I'm like, well, we're 1 book in, and who knows how long this is going to last? Type situation.
Well, in regards to Chainsaw Man, the reason why people are expecting it around about November is because for Jujutsu Kaisen, it was apparently announced back in October of 2018 or 2019, sorry.
Yeah.
And then was released of like November 2020 or started to release then. So that's why they're running it by that kind of similar time scale between announcement and actually being released.
So what was that? 2018, 2020. So about what? Year? 2 years? Well, about 2 years essentially.
It was announced in 2019 and then released 2020.
Oh, 2019.
So
okay,
it
right.
is literally about a year between announcement and actual release. And
the reason Jujutsu Kaisen is actually quite good.
Yeah, the reason they're basing it off of that one is because it's the same company that's doing Chainsaw Man.
Really? Yeah, same production company doing it? Oh. Yep. Well, that's going to be good then. Yeah.
They've also done like Attack on Titan, God of High School, and a couple of other stuff as well. So.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Jujutsu Kaisen's quite good. If you haven't given that a watch, definitely give it a watch.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few screenshots of it, and it's like, I'll give it a shot.
It's not your usual shonen manga or anime. It's more supernatural horror first, then shonen stuff is thrown into it. But it's just that the main character, what's his name? Yutatori. I forgot the main character's name is. But the main character, he's absolutely hilarious because of what he can do. He's always been much a goody two shoe in terms of I always help people type situation. And then when he gets thrown into the world of like spirits and exorcisms and supernatural horror and so forth, it's crazy what happens. but I'd rather let you guys like see it first, and then obviously like figure how it goes, because I only knew about this because a couple of people that who I raid with were kind of like, oh, you should check out Jujutsu Kaisen. And I was like, what's Jujutsu Kaisen? And he went, it's about this dude who eats a demon finger. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? What kind of story is this? He's like, it's bizarre, but you need to check it out. So I sat down, literally as soon as that season came out, I was like, all right, this is the show about the dude who eats a demon finger. And I was like, oh, okay. This is actually quite good.
It excites me a little bit more about watching that now, purely based on the fact that Mappa that's done. Well, no, but the Mappa, the company that's done Jujutsu Kaisen, and is obviously, as I mentioned, doing Chainsaw Man, also did Punchline back in 2015.
Punchline? Why does that ring a bell?
I absolutely love that anime. It is fantastic for a short 12-episode series, but it is absolutely brilliant. It's about a kid that has to keep reliving through life, because as soon as he sees anything that is erotic, like panties or a bra or anything else like that, he summons a meteor to blow up the earth, and he ends up waking up and having to relive it. So he's got to keep living through these days. Now,
that's the worst version of fan service meets Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
But he lives in a dorm with 6 other women, so it's just absolutely brilliant. And I love the anime so much. It's 12 episodes and pure fan service and pure comedy. It's brilliant. It really, really is.
I may have to look that one up.
I don't know if he just summons a meteor to end the day. He's like, no!
Got a boner, destroy the world.
Yeah, exactly. Sees a V line. Oh, no, calls on Sephiroth. It's like, dude, play the music.
The one angel.
Oh, no.
The one boner angel, more like. Right, shall we finish it there on that line?
Yeah, let's call it a day on that one. On that note,
that was a good run.
That was a good run. It was good to do this again, chaps. Thank you very much for joining us. This was episode 1 of season 2 of the Crusaders podcast. We are going to be back. Don't forget to check out Duck Butter, an episode of a podcast that we are about to record an episode of very, very soon. My name has been SENPIEMAN. I was joined this week by Techsnologic, who's going to say goodbye.
Howdy. Bye.
I was going to say goodbye. There we go. I was also joined by LancelotArcher.
Sayonara, peeps.
Have yourselves a good weekend, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, whichever day you listen to this. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.